forced displacement. About 1 in every 67 people in the world right now face this issue. They fear for their lives. I'm Sasha Chanoff. I'm the founder and CEO of Refuge Point. We're an organization that partners with refugees to advance life-changing solutions. People are forced from their homes because of bombs, bullets, soldiers. Some flee to neighboring countries. Those are people who are refugees. Today in the world, there are over 120 million people who have fled their homes. I go a step deeper, 1/3 of those people have fled across an international border and are in a neighboring country and are refugees. People who are refugees, often they don't return home, sometimes for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or generations even. It's one of the great and growing problems in the world. And with climate change, it's going to increase dramatically. So we have to, as a community of the world, figure out how we address this problem, and it is not being addressed well. Climate change is one of the big triggers of conflict. If you look at Sudan, if you look at Syria, if you look at many of the conflicts in the world right now, you can relate it back to climate change, among other things. One of the problems in the world right now is that people are displaced for decades, and yet the primary response is based on an emergency. You need a tent and food and basic assistance to survive, which the world, to some degree, provides. But the situation doesn't change. So the next year, you don't go home. Sometimes you don't go home, as I just said, for 5, 10, 20 years, but that emergency response also doesn't change. So you're forced into a situation of dependence where you have no opportunities to build a normal life. That is what has to change. What we have to do is provide refugees with agency, with dignity, with opportunities, with a way to move forward in their lives so they can support their families, contribute to their communities, and have a sense of hope for the future. That's exactly what Refuge Point does. We do that by helping refugees through a big program in Nairobi become self-reliant so they can support themselves and contribute to their communities. Based on the success we had there, we built a global initiative to train and support other organizations to do that. Some refugees, though, are in life-threatening danger where they have ended up. They can't stay safely there. They can't become self-reliant there. So we built a whole program to identify refugees in life-threatening situations and help connect them with government resettlement programs so they can resettle to the US, Canada, Australia, EU, and other countries. There are anywhere between 20 and 30 countries annually that have programs to bring refugees in, and they can become citizens a number of years after arriving in those countries. To date, we've helped about 185,000 people around the world. We train and support other organizations to do this work too, and we build networks to do this work collectively. We also reunite many unaccompanied children with their parents. No one organization is going to solve the problems of the world, but if you can unite many organizations and entities, governments, businesses, and others around a common solution, then you can make progress. That's one of the primary things that Refuge Point does. We have something called the Refugee Self-Reliance Initiative that we co-founded with an amazing organization called the Women's Refugee Commission. The goal is to promote self-reliance for people stuck in the countries to which they've fled for decades. We do that through measuring impact, we do it through advocacy, and we do it through changing and improving programming. And today, we have over 650 partners across the world working with refugees so that they can become self-reliant, reaching over 2.5 million people, working with many governments, many funders, many companies, and many others. The organizations doing this work promote women, promote economic security, provide loans so people can build businesses. We work with all of those organizations and help to advance their efforts. We've built a whole initiative around the objective of self-reliance so people can lead normal lives, support their communities, and have hope for the future. Today, 120 million people have fled their homes. In the coming decades, we might see hundreds of millions. Some estimates even say up to 1 billion people who will be displaced because of climate change and conflict, the shocks that the world is facing right now. We could all be displaced at some point. We are at a watershed moment for humanity where we have to understand that people who are forcibly displaced are just like you and me, and that we have to change how we think about each other. We have to change how we act toward one another. We have to treat everybody with dignity, respect, and decency, because That could be us tomorrow. We have to transform humanity's moral imagination. Look at the past, you see that we've done these things before. If you think of abolitionism, if you think of the spread of universal suffrage or the civil rights movement, these were ideas that generated momentum and culminated in transformative watershed moments that expanded the moral sense of who is included in society. We have to do that now for people who are forcibly displaced. I think it's going to be the defining issue of our lifetime.